Yes, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin. In today's video, if you hold cryptocurrency, there's been a bombshell development in the Celsius case. I want to keep you informed. We'll go over the Mt. Gox news, what this means to you, and when this unlock is happening, as well as altcoin news and much more. So, like always, check the timestamps down below in the video description, hit the like button, and let's jump in, starting with Celsius has just moved $529 million worth of wrapped BTC to FTX exchange. Should we be worried? Are they about to dump this amount of Bitcoin onto the market? Why else would they move this onto an exchange? And also, where did they get this wrapped Bitcoin in the first place? I thought they were insolvent. Well, as of yesterday, Celsius has now paid off its entire loan on the Maker protocol. So because they were able to pay off their loan, the original collateral that they put down in the first place was unlocked, and now they have all that wrapped BTC back. And as one Twitter user mentioned, great, so their Maker loan is paid off with my deposits. When do my deposits become mine again? And that is the question. But first, let's talk about why Celsius just moved all this money onto FTX. The huge transfer to the exchange, as we mentioned, comes after the lending platform, Celsius, paid off its remaining $41.2 million of debt to the Maker protocol, freeing up its loan's entire wrapped BTC collateral. And obviously, there's only two big options when you put over $500 million worth of crypto onto an exchange. Some obviously fearing that a dump of the wrapped BTC on the exchange could follow soon. That would obviously be huge sell pressure. Yet others have been more hopeful that the move may be in preparation for Celsius to swap the wrapped Bitcoin for real Bitcoin, which may be a good sign for Celsius depositors who've been hoping for Bitcoin withdrawals to eventually reopen on the Celsius platform. Since this news came out, Bitcoin is up in the last 24 hours, showing investors aren't scared, at least in the short term. But the minute this wrapped BTC gets sold to cash or gets converted into Bitcoin, the minute something happens, I will report, I will keep you updated. But Celsius is not out of the woods yet, because while they have, paid off their entire loan with Maker, there are still many other protocols that they owe hundreds of millions of dollars to. So progress is happening. We will see. And next up, huge bombshell lawsuit that just got filed against Celsius. The former head of DeFi at Celsius, who managed billions of dollars for the troubled crypto lender, has just sued the company, alleging it operated as a Ponzi scheme. And this was significant to me because it's one thing for a disgruntled customer, an average person, to sue the exchange, right? That average person really doesn't know the inner workings of the company. But it's a whole different ballgame for somebody who used to work with Celsius, intertwined with, to now sue them and accuse them of a Ponzi scheme. So what are the details? Bombshell allegations of fraud as KeyFi takes Celsius to court. So KeyFi Inc.'s complaint alleges that Celsius failed to honor a multi-million-dollar profit-sharing agreement after deploying numerous successful staking and DeFi strategies for the firm. Let's talk about the details of the relationship and the details of the lawsuit. Staking software and investment firm KeyFi Inc. has filed a complaint against Celsius, alleging the company has been operating in a Ponzi-style fashion and that it failed to honor a profit-sharing agreement worth millions of dollars. The complaint, filed on Thursday, alleges that Celsius has refused to honor a handshake agreement in which KeyFi would receive various percentages of profits it made on Celsius's behalf via a number of staking and decentralized finance strategies. So first off, being in a handshake agreement is sort of sketchy. Why wasn't this in writing? But anyway, KeyFi is saying that Celsius used their strategies with Celsius's funds to help generate yield, and they were supposed to receive various percentages of profits, which they never did. The complaint also accuses Celsius of negligent misrepresentation over its risk management controls, so they were not honest on how they mitigated risk, Celsius, as well as fraud in the inducement via misleading information of its business operations. Damn, negligence and fraud are pretty big accusations. The plaintiff is Jason Stone. He's the CEO of KeyFi. And according to the court documents, KeyFi served as an investment manager to Celsius between August 2020 and March 2021, during which the duo entered into a memorandum of understanding which saw KeyFi work under a special purpose vehicle to be owned by Celsius, dubbed Celsius KeyFi. So a merging of names does mean they were truly working together. And while a specific figure owed to KeyFi is not outlined in the complaint, it does state that the sum that KeyFi thinks they're owed is worth millions of dollars, and that the companies agreed on profit shares ranging from anywhere from 7.5 to 20% depending on the investment strategy. And I believe that Celsius just provided the money that their customers deposited in the Celsius platform. They provided the money to KeyFi, and then KeyFi generated yield with their strategies. And they say they're supposed to get a certain percentage of those gains. And of course, the last big allegation in this lawsuit is Ponzi. Notably, there's also a lengthy section of the complaint alleging that Celsius was running a Ponzi-style operation by luring in new depositors with high interest rates as a way to repay earlier depositors and creditors. The exact definition of a Ponzi. We will see how much traction this gets in court, if it even makes it in court, we don't know yet. But the complaint is seeking a trial by jury and an award of damages in an amount to be determined at trial. Give me your thoughts on this down below. Seriously, I'd love to know your take on the Celsius situation down below. Let's all check the comment section right now. All right, next up, we'll talk about Ethereum. We will talk about Polkadot. But first, what's with this Mt. Gox news? Well, Bitcoin faces a Mt. Gox Black Swan event as the trustees prepare to unlock 150,000 BTC. So just to be specific, in other words, Bitcoin faces a new selling threat in the near future as users of the defunct exchange Mt. Gox prepare to get their Bitcoin back. This is a very fitting piece of news today because while so many people can't get their Bitcoin off of Voyager or off of Celsius, there was only one exchange back in the day, and that was Mt. Gox, and it went down. In fresh correspondence dated July 6th, so this week, attorney Nobuaki Kobayashi, appointed trustee in the Mt. Gox rehabilitation process, confirmed that he was preparing to make repayments to account holders. The only question is, how will they choose to receive their payments? In cash, in Bitcoin, or in Bcash? Well, over 8 years ago, after Mt. Gox imploded, it appears that those who lost their money are about to receive one of those three options. And the reason this affects you and me is because while the price of Bitcoin at the time of the implosion was just a fraction of the current price of Bitcoin now, all those people have made such gains just by not being able to sell since then. People are speculating that the sell pressure could be heavy since now they'll be able to move those coins, take some profits. So this is happening in the next few months, and this has been years in the making. The rehabilitation plan was originally approved back in 2018 and then confirmed and finalized in October 2021. Out of the initial 850,000 BTC that were lost by Mt. Gox, only a reported 150,000 BTC have been recovered, and that is the sell pressure people fear on the market. So we will have to see what happens. Obviously, if these people that are owed all this Bitcoin ask for it back in cash, that will be the sell pressure. But if they ask for it back in Bitcoin or in Bcash, that means they're hodling. Next piece of news on Ethereum. Why Ethereum name service is seeing a spike in domain registrations. So Ethereum name service, or ENS, is a decentralized domain protocol that runs atop the Ethereum network. It provides users with an easily readable name, such as abc.eth, instead of a complex long alphanumeric address for their crypto wallets. So instead of sending your ETH to a long public address that you got to copy and paste and make sure it's exactly right, you would just send it to yourname.eth or whatever.eth that you buy. Now, some ENS buyers treat the names as investments, meaning they're not buying it for themselves, they're treating it like any investable asset, purchasing popular and common names and selling them for profit. Last week, 000.eth was sold for a record 300 Ethereum, fueling interest in 3-digit ENS names as traders tried to capitalize on the hype. And specifically, daily ENS registrations also spiked, reaching over 30,000 new addresses on July 4th and over 20,000 new addresses on July 7th. I wonder why. Some people are saying because they're investments. Other people are saying that it's easier for people, these are NFTs first and foremost, and it's easier for people to see the long-term utility of something like dogfood.eth or Santa Monica.eth, and they're buying them and sitting on them for investments. All right, that is the video. My name's Austin. Like always, see you tomorrow. Have a great weekend.